That I walk makes them think I like boys. Hey everyone, it's Jen, aka LaureledEevees, with this November's Homestuck. Yes. Y'all a bunch of chuckleheads. I threw a poll out there, and 55% of YouTube and 53% of Twitter voted for Homestuck sequel to be pronounced as Homestuck yes. The biggest majority was different for each one of them, so I'm gonna flip-flop between the two titles until one just sticks, if that's okay. Last month, we were reintroduced to the fact that canon Dirk Strider turned into a villain, ascended to take the narration from either Hussey or Caliborn, and is flying in a rocket with Terezi and Rosebot to a planet with Spurb technology. Now, I expected the update to come on 11/11, but Aisha said... Or is it Aisha? Aisha? They said no. Probably for the best, though. I was sick most of last week. Meanwhile, while I am enjoying the fact that Homestuck 2 is a thing and we got to see Dirk, I'm also kind of wondering how Candy Route is gonna get into all of this. Candy Route, that story was a grade A hot mess, and I need to see Dirk attempt to control non-canon properties. Also, I'm silently freaking out over the fact that I have not drawn any official fan art of the Candy Kids yet, and I want to get my stuff out there before they become non-canon, if that makes any sense. Jeez, something loud just fell outside. Had to be a Saturday. Everyone's home on a Saturday. Anyway, the reason I'm freaking out about Candy Route now is the fact that these new pages have parentheses around their arrows, signaling to those of us who read Candy Route that the point of view will be switching to a new perspective that may or may not be secondary to the main plot, a la Vriska or Vriska. It's only 23 pages today, so let's stop talking and let's start reading. Okay. Chapter 1, Ghostflusters. Okay. Oh no! You're putting trigger warnings at the start? Okay. Trigger warnings give me trigger warnings. Just kidding. Okay, I'm kidding. Okay. I'm just gonna double triple check and make sure that I'm actually recording this. Okay, good. Okay. Well, it looks like we're outside John's house. We got someone with green gloves. Oh, this is Candy Route. We're in Candy Route, guys! Because we're back at the old Egbert house, and we got... That's definitely Jake out in the garden out front, isn't it? I bet it is. It's green gloves, has the Jake hair. Here we go. The void resounds. Space seizes and warps as the bounds of relevance erode away to nothing but the wishful nostalgia of times past. There's a hole in the middle of the universe, and it is hungry. But the denizens of this particular iteration of Earthsea don't know it. All of this is just business as usual for a planet plagued by war, continuous ensailment ghost weather, and the general malaise of being absolutely severed from canon. They spend their days absorbed in the petty and pointless pursuits of having jobs and raising families and falling in love. In the midst of this, a middle-aged man kneels in a garden. It isn't his garden, and he already has a name, but we'll begin our story with him regardless. Plants, Jake has decided, are really the best sort of chums. They're quiet, friendly, and easy to please. All they need is a little water and fresh earth, and they're perfectly happy to lie there all day in the sun. And they don't make increasingly inhumane arms deals and appear on talk shows expounding on the dangers of interspecies marriage. They have never, as far as Jake knows, screwed a clown. Oh, poor Jake. Every single universe Jake is in, he just has the worst time. Ugh. Okay. Period, parentheses, arrow, parentheses, period. Go. Oh, he's got a mustache. Look at him. He's got facial features. Aw, Jake. John has been an incredible pal, opening his home to Jake and his son on such short notice and even offering him a pair of pants, as well as a shirt that he has gone so... As well as a shirt that he has so far neglected to put on. John's house doesn't have air conditioning. It's a charming little cottage, but it could sure as aces use some airing out, and dusting, and just general upkeep. The old place really has gone to seed since John's been away. Jake shudders to think what sort of state his own mansion is in. Jane will probably have it demolished now, he imagines. It, like the rest of his assets, is in her name. She'd seen to that as soon as they were married. Terrible decision-making on your part, Maine. Back at Shea Crocker, there's been a legion of hired help to take care of the ins and outs of running a household. Jane's far too busy to bother with such things, and Jake, well, he just never bothered. Why should he when there were other people to take care of it for him? But the decades of easy living don't change the fact that he spent the first 16 years of his life in the deep, lush bush of a South Pacific jungle. Is it lush? No, if it was brush, it would have an R. Okay. Certainly there's been no one to cook and clean and bring down the big game then. Besides his grandma. But she had him shooting as soon as he could hold a pistol. No pistols were shot today, but Jake is determined to have the place in tip-top shape by the time John gets back from wherever he is. He hasn't seen much of Tavros today either, but that's not unusual. He's probably just out with his kismesis, the one he thinks Jake doesn't know about. He washes the floors and windows, cleans a toilet or three, and chases a family of squirrels out from inside of the attic wall. They chatter angrily at him, but he doesn't back down. Oh, Jake. At least you have eyes. That has yet to be taken from you. Oh, gosh. As the day wears on and the shadows grow longer, Jake washes the dirt out from under his fingernails, and his eyes fall on the bottle still sitting on the counter. John had opened it, but together they'd barely touched the stuff. Jake had promised him and Tavi that he'd dry up his act and all, but, well... It's okay, Jake. We understand. One thing at a time. That picture's gonna be taken out of context. Oh! Excuse me? Pardon? What the hell is this? What? 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 Okay. The jungle air is heavy, humid, and familiar. 20 years on, and the thick drag into his lungs settles on him in a blanket of nostalgia, reassuring in its discomfort. A pistol is strapped to his leg, and all around him the shadows move in slow, threatening sweeps. He is in deeper than the jungle than he'd ever venture in his waking hours. There were places on his island that not even his gran would have tread, and she'd been the bravest person he'd ever known. Here there'd be monsters. Jake doesn't recognize anything. The jungle of his dreams is wild and unknown, and there are things moving in the dense undergrowth. He slaps at the mosquito on his neck. Sweat drips into his eyes. He drops a hand to his gun, the tension prickling hot and tight at the base of his neck. A sudden wind thrashes the canopy. There are pine needles in his mouth. There aren't any pine needles in the jungle. The only warning Jake gets is a resonant growl that seems to come from every direction at once, before the monster is on him, a lithe creature of darkness and fury, with more legs than any mammalian has any right to. He hits the ground hard enough to drive the breath out of him, but he doesn't have time to catch it. He has to run. He knows in the deep prophetic way of dreams that he is no match for this monster. It's right behind him, its hot, damp breath wafting at his hair. My dad is coughing. Poor dad. Sorry. Damp breath wafting at his hair. What does it feel like to be eaten? He's about to find out. Is it? Oh, it is, isn't it? Oh no, fingerless gloves? That ain't a Jane. That's a Dirk. Someone still is hung up over an ex. Oh gosh, Jake. Oh no, Jake. They got him. Oh wait. Dirk's totally cool. Okay. I'm sorry. But this will be pretty weird, considering, his universe's Dirk is Epsteined. Anyway. Dirk? You're welcome. But you're dead. Nah. Yes, I know that much. I saw your body. I carried your coffin chock full of all those stupid frickin' swords. Nope. Don't nope me, mister. I know a dead Dirk when I see one. Sure you do. But that wasn't me. Are you really surprised to find out I got a couple of spares? So what you're saying is, you aren't my Dirk. That is a whole nother conversation that we really don't have time for, pertaining to exactly who or what your Dirk actually constitutes. Do you mean the Dirk from your timeline? Then yes, that Dirk is dead. If you mean the Dirk that you screwed and then ghosted, no, I'm not your Dirk. If you meant the Dirk that you felt closest to, that you really knew... Oh my gosh. Is this a brain ghost Dirk, or is this the real Dirk just... yeeting himself into his ex's dreams? Because that's what I got the feeling it is. I got the feeling that when they were like, oh, we're going to go search for a planet with superb technology, yada yada, they ended up traveling so far into paradox space that they wound up on Candy Earth C. I'm going to go insane. Anyway. I thought you said we didn't have time for this conversation. I just want to know how you can be here and also in the ground. You let a guy spend a couple decades as a dominatrix trophy husband, and he forgets all about his old friends. Rough. What about the good times, Jake? What about when I almost made you crap your pants in front of a blue girl? Ah, brain ghost Dirk. In the ghostly flesh. Okay, so it is the brain ghost Dirk. I like that the brain ghost Dirk aged as well. Crumbs, bro, where have you been? I could have used someone on my side. You just disappeared one day, without even the old toodaloo to mark your passing. Now, isn't it strictly true? I did disappear, but it was in a catastrophic blaze of hope-wrenched pathos. I even threw out a couple one-liners. But you wouldn't remember that. Because it was a different Dirk? No, it was a different Jake. Until recently, there's been a shortage of ambient narrative relevance for Dirks, since one particular mother trucker has been sucking it all up like a thirsty little twink at his first interspecies rave. Twink? Cripes, this is confusing. It appears that no matter what timeline we're inhabiting, I can count on you to be absolutely impenetrable. Don't worry about that right now. It's not important. I'm here, and that's what matters. I suppose I'll have to trust you. Always the trust. I just don't know... Oh, and he shoves you from the tree. Bye-bye. Yeah, good luck with that. Even Brain Ghost Dirk's like, nah, you can't trust me, even if I'm a brain ghost. Consciousness hits Jake like a bottle to the back of the head. In fact, the bottle is on the table, tipped over and sluggishly dripping from the mouth. The kitchen reeks of whiskey and his head pounds. At least he'd been home alone and nobody had seen him slip back into his old habits. Strange days, Jake thinks to himself, and strange dream. That was a real humdinger of a nightmare. He hadn't dreamed of Dirk in years, and it had felt so real, like he could have reached out and touched him. What? Are we... We're staring at a hand on a table. Oh. Okay. Oh, hope powers have brought him back. That's right. Jake had that whole, like, revelation thing where he's like, yes, I'm free from Jane, and he had, like, the hope burst that just exploded across the lands, and we're like, I wonder if that's gonna have any significance. Looks like there's gonna be some. Brain Ghost Dirk is, present, and he's chillin'. And he's still got them wicked sideburns. They're even poking out from beyond his face. Okay. The temptation to swear has gotten a lot more relevant. Kappa. Anyway. What in the flibbergating hell? That's not a word. Dirk. Sup? Am I still dreaming? I have to tell you that my dream hangovers are not usually nearly this bad. I wasn't gonna say anything, but holy crap, dude, you really let yourself go. Not to say that the sloppy drunk look isn't working for me, because it absolutely is, but come on, man, you passed out in a puddle of your own drool. And what the heck is that on your face? My face? What do you mean on my face? The mustache, Jake. Whose idea was that? Oh, you don't like it? I didn't say that. Point is, you're a wreck, and no amount of well-maintained facial hair is gonna be enough to hide that. Not from me. Now see here, Buster, you don't know the situation. You haven't been here. Well, we had this conversation before, dingus. I'm you, and I'm me, but I only exist because of your powers. The fact that I'm manifesting here in this new universe outside of a dream is evidence in itself for just how absolutely boned you are. What are you doing? There's a war happening. All your friends are out there fighting, and you're just here. What? Dusting? Oh, that's right, there's a war. Surprise! Everyone who didn't read Candy Route, there's a war. Carcat has one eyeball. He's got an eye patch. He's with Mina. Oh, gosh. Okay. Taking care of a house that nobody actually uses? You've been a useless sack of crap for 2 decades. I'm here to kick your butt back into active duty. You've spent years feeling sorry for yourself, totally convinced that you made the wrong choices and that it's all over for you. And it's easier that way, isn't it? If you're a lost cause, you don't have to try to be better. But you want to be better. Remember all those dreams about adventures? Life and love? Quit saying life and love. If you keep saying, like, teaching people about life and love, I cannot. Anyway, remember when Tavros was born and there were so many things in this world you wanted to show him? Beautiful things, Jake. But none of those are gonna come from sitting around playing house husband to your ecto son. Well, what do you propose I do if you're so gosh darn brainy? I'm a cracking good marksman, and no slouch when it comes to fisticuffs. But what good am I in a war? I've got some panache, but I can hardly hold my own in the face of an army. And what side am I supposed to be fighting on? For Jane or against her? Against her. Obviously. What the hell, dude? But you were the one who wanted her to run in the first place. You wrote her bloody speeches. Yeah, I did. And every single one of them kicked butt. I wanted Jane to be the democratically elected president, not a cake-slinging Jeff Bezos with a great rack. Jeff who? Name drop. It's okay. I don't think he's gonna make it. Don't worry about it. Point is, you have a chance to make a difference. You're the perfect position to infiltrate her operation. Like a spy? Don't try to tell me it doesn't appeal to you. Sexy little suit, slicked back hair, bunch of weapons hidden in unlikely places. We're both liking this idea more and more. Well, I do look fetching in a cummerbund. Wait, no, you tricked me with thoughts of spies and hijinks and 2 bros against the world. I left Janie. There's no going back now. She isn't exactly the sort to live and let live, you know. Yeah, pretty murder-tastic. That is horse crap, and we both know it. Jane would take you back in a second. She loves you. Pshaw, I'm not to be maudlin. Nope. Pshaw, not to be maudlin, brain ghost Dirk, but Jane hasn't cared about me in a very long time, if she ever did at all. I thought you knew everything I do. True. I mean, she was in a relationship with Gamzee. You were her kismesis, basically. She was able to shout at you and berate you with absolutely no consequences, and you totally just left her after her father died. But you comforted her when her father died. You are the only person who had any guts to do that because everyone on the planet is terrified of her. Anyway, moving on. There's a part of you that still hopes. You can't help it. You'll never be able to help it. You're going to hope for a brighter future until you're in the ground. Better you than me, honestly. Sounds exhausting. You're going to do this, and we both know it. So why are we even still arguing? Oh, whoa, what the heck? We just thinking about space. And look, we can see farms. That's what farms look like. I learned this from Twitter. Sorry, I'm laughing. Okay, I like that the spaceship has sporks on the ends. That's a nice, imperious looking, and rather condescending battleship we got going on right there. Next. Oh, wow. This is actually happening in real time. They just flew up there, and Jane's gonna hug him. Oh, she's crying. Deserved. Oh, and is he wearing John's shirt, but he put a skull over it just so it's like his shirt, and he's got a bow tie, because naturally Jake has to wear a bow tie. Aw, Jane. Oh gosh, I have to remember how to do Jane's voice. Okay. Boo-hoo-hoo. Oh, Jake, something awful has happened. It has? You mean more awful than usual? The opposition has taken Tavros, Jake. They've finally shown their true colors. I knew it was only a matter of time before they attacked our family directly. Oh, well, the scamps. It's then that Jake realized that Jane isn't mad because she'd never realized It's then that Jake realized that Jane isn't mad because she never realized he was gone. Someone's revving a motorcycle like an awesome person just one block away. Anyway, sorry. Please stop. No one wants to hear you revving motorcycle. What time is it? It's 3 p.m. Calm the heck down. Okay. The perils of living... Let's see. There's been plenty of times when the two of them didn't cross paths for days at a time. I missed a sentence. Scream. Okay, it makes sense. There have been plenty of times when the two of them didn't cross paths for days at a time. The perils of living in a mansion, he supposes. She seems to have forgotten that she had been cross with him the last time they met, because now that Gamzee is gone, there's no one left to talk to. She recovers from her crying jag with grace, straightening up and wiping her eyes. Miraculously, her mascara remains unstreaked. Even in moments of vulnerability, she is bulletproof. Or she just, got tats. Bold. Anyway. Brain goes, Dirk, stop touching things. Wail. Jake stands there and listens as she lays out her plans of vengeance and violence, and he makes himself smile, and he makes himself nod. Honestly, it's not unlike any other night he's spent with Jane lately. Right down to the pit of misery gnawing somewhere below his belly button. All of this is made worse by the occasional wry glint in her eye, and for a moment of self-deprecation in the slant of her mouth. It reminds him of the Jane he used to know, or the Jane he thought he used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know, somebody. Sorry, okay. Then there's the ghostly presence of his former beau and best bro. That's different. At first, Dirk stands at Jake's elbow, a one ghost support staff, before he appears to lose interest in Jane's rant and wanders off. across the office, reading the spines of books and spending way too long staring at the startlingly phallic piece of installation art, the provenance of which Jake doesn't know, but he could hazard a guess it wore a codpiece. Then he settles on Jane's desk, propping his ghost butt there, and well, here's a picture of what he does. Stop. Stop it. You gotta make me laugh. I can't. I'm already laughing. Smooch me like one of your French Dirks. Anyway. Okay, that's a bit of exaggeration. It's more like this. Still. Whatever the case, it's distracting, and by the time Jane loses steam and dismisses Jake from her presence, he's thoroughly exhausted from attempting to pay attention to his supervillain wife while trying not to look at the crotch of a ghost man from his brain. Dirk, I don't think I can do this. What do you mean? You just did it. You kicked butt back there. I didn't do anything. I just stood there and felt bad about myself. All according to Kekaku. All according to Kekaku. Kekaku means plan. It worked. Congratulations. It's only I promised I would never come back here. Promised? Promised who? Myself. I decided that enough was right and jolly well enough. You say you know your onions when it comes to me and my troubles, but you just keep asking stupid questions. John and I had quite the gabfest the other night, and I felt hopeful for the first time in years, like I really could turn over a new leaf, and it all felt like berries from here on out. I really didn't think I'd fall off the wagon so quickly. I don't think being here is good for my emotions, to be honest. Yeah, probably not. That's okay. They don't matter. Oh, I suppose you're right with masculinity and all that. That's not the true definition of masculinity. I'll just let some Australian chick tell you all about it later. Anyway. A true man's lip remains stiff even in the harshest circumstances. I don't know anything about stiff lips, dude, but that's not what I meant. It's not because you're a man. You're a god. Oh, right. That. The world comes first, even at the expense of all your relationships and personal happiness. That's what being a hero means. I guess I never thought about it like that. Welcome to my thought process. Anyway. Let's go. Oh, screen. Is he staring right at me? Think what you want about Jane, but at least she realizes that none of you can ever be normal, and she never bothered to try. Can it really be a god complex if you're actually a god? People like us don't get happy endings. Well, I mean, there's a difference between, a benevolent god and, let's see, then there's the Greco-Roman gods who just did whatever and caused mayhem whenever they saw fit. And then there's the fact that you guys are human and you just were given god powers as a boon and you could totally have skipped them if you wanted to. Anyway, that's bleak, Dirk. I don't think I could possibly believe that. I know you're born from all the little bits and bobs inside my mind, but oh boy, I don't think I've ever thought of something like that even on my darkest day. Yeah, it's probably more a Dirk thought than a Jake one. I told you, it's hard to tell sometimes. Is that really how Dirk felt the whole gosh darn time? It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's how Dirk felt. So much so that he was willing to, totally screw over canon. And get John axed. Oh, that's the end. That's the end of this one. Okay. Oh, welcome to Candyland. We gon' go crazy. the excitement. And I'm so glad. Thank you for not showing the Candy Kids. I still want to get my fan art out there. Because I know, like, nitpicky. I know that, like, some of the staff for, like, the Homestuck team, they have some issues with fan art. If it doesn't look canon for them, they get a bit upset. And I'm just like, oh boy, this is gonna be a train ride. We going on a ride in this story. 'Cause, oh my goodness. Anyway, oh gosh, I can't keep, like, just rambling nonstop. This is crazy bananas. And, oh gosh, I need to get this edited. This will probably come out on Monday, because Sabbath, don't like to work on Sundays. Anyway, what could possibly happen next? I'm hoping we hop back to canon and see what Dave and Carcat and Kanaya and Roxy, and it'll be interesting if they manage to get Calliope and Jade on the same spaceship. Because Calliope is scared to death of the person Jade is hosting currently. Jade is being an excellent host. Anyway, that's enough from me. Let's get this show on the road, and I will see you all next time in December, of all places. Bye!
Hey there. Consider becoming a patron, just like the phenomenal Gerald Thomas, Bleed Red, and Alexander Madeline.